Welcome everybody to episode 7 of the iGNiTiON podcast. You'll notice that there's only 3 of us this week. Unfortunately, Ed's unable to make it, and I couldn't rope anybody else in last minute, so I tried to get Ollie, but people have got social lives, it turns out. People are busy. I don't think they do. But anyway, so it's just for myself, Lewis, and Phil and Chris that you can see on the screen. Been a pretty rocky start to our road trip.
At least it has got a name though, rather than just a number.
That's true. It has got a number as well.
Oh, good.
So we'll start off, as we do every week, with our week in cars. So, Chris, have you been up to anything this week in cars?
Probably more so than normal, actually. So, I mean, you're probably aware of most of them, but because it's pretty much fixing your cars, actually. But so, back in a bit of problem solving on some Alfa Romeos with, interestingly, found a 3D printed part inside a car with a broken window regulator, which was quite strange, actually. But so mocked another one up, got one design printed and replaced the part. So that's back functioning again. And then also there was the fun and games we had trying to time up your Ferrari with your electronic ignition now fitted. Well, we seem to make some improvement, but you know when you start getting to that point where you don't trust the equipment you're using because you can't actually, it either stops working or we started with it working. It seemed to work perfectly, then just seemed to deteriorate. And then you start wondering, especially when you're messing around with timing, you now don't even trust the timing you're setting on the vehicle. But yeah, probably so. A few other bits and pieces I've done. The odd had to repair somebody's tyre the other day because they had a puncture and bits and pieces. So done a fair bit compared to normal.
You've been using your Nissan 350Z.
Oh, the 350Z's been out. Yeah, I've actually started finding a bit more enjoyment again and actually getting that back out on the road and stuff. So, and I think I've fallen back in love with it at the moment. So, good. It'll at least stay for another 6 months.
Cars are there's like I always find I've got a cyclical relationship with cars that goes between love and hatred, and I think you find a spot or something that you enjoy from it, and you seem to have definitely got your mojo back with cars a bit, which is good. Nice to see. So, what about you, Mr. Phillip? You got?
Well, I've had a pretty dull week of cars, really, but I discovered a new little sport. Well, it's not a new sport at all. A new sport to me. I think it's all due to the clocks going the wrong way around, as I do this time of year. So I'd gone to watch some qualifying for the Formula One early. It wasn't on, but it was replaced, or what was on instead was the Ferrari Challenge Cup. And I watched a few minutes of it, and they're all just driving around in 296s, and you think, oh, it's just like DTM, but it's not. It's absolutely brilliant. I love it.
It's good result.
Really good. There's plenty of contacts, plenty of really close racing, a lot of strategy, but they're nearly all owner drivers, which I found interesting.
They're all amateurs, aren't they, in that?
Yeah, they only have to have done 8 days racing before they can enter the Ferrari Cup Challenge.
And have like £1 million, I guess.
Yeah, you need a few pound, I think.
Yeah.
But interestingly, I think the dynamics of the guys that are doing it, and the ladies, is that they're all between mine and Chris's ages. They're not young people. They're,
no one's got
one of my favourites. The guy I was really sort of rooting for on the one of the races I was watching was Fabrizio Fontana.
Great name.
Traditional Italian name.
Good name.
Is he from
Driving a traditional, yeah. Got a flat cap on.
Yeah.
And he did really well. I can't remember where he actually came because I've not really totally got into the sport yet, but I do enjoy watching it, and I'd recommend anybody else to watch it.
What channel is that on?
Sky Sports F1. Sky Sports. Yeah, just Sky Sports.
Oh, it's actually on the F1 channel, is it?
Yeah, because they'd run out of boring things to say about Hamilton. So...
is that your week in cars done then, is it?
That's my week in cars. What's yours?
Well, very similar to Chris's because we've been working together. So some of you guys might know, me and Phil actually bought an Alfa Romeo GTV Cup 2 years ago. I don't know.
2 years
A
ago.
long time ago. People sort of approach me quite often and be like, "Oh, you want to buy my Alpha, don't you?" And no is the answer, especially from this experience. But I was in a Waitrose car park and I just pulled up in my 4C, and some guy came over to me and said, "Oh, you want to buy my car, don't you?" And I was like, "I don't know." And it turns out his son had been to iGNiTiON, which is his son's actually works at Top 55. Dan, nice bloke, and he'd been talking to me about this car that his dad's got, and it was a GTV Cup, which is a special edition GTV, and it only had something like 20,000 miles on it, but it'd been off the road for 12 years, something like that. So me and Phil went to have a look at it because we're basically children and just get carried away with buying things and then regret it afterwards all the time.
For 2 years.
Yeah. We took the cover off of it. Lacquer came with it, pretty much, didn't it? And it was very low mileage. The interior was like new. So we've got the car back and we've sorted out the paint and gone through it mechanically. But like old Alphas that haven't moved are just a right pain, because just you fix one thing, something else goes wrong immediately, and you can't get the parts for it or whatever. So they need to be used. But so we're getting towards the end of that now. Somebody's actually agreed to buy it. I think they've got a really good deal, to be honest, looking at it. And the prices seem to be solidifying on these GTVs, because I think everybody's realised they're a very pretty car with a great engine, that Busso V6 engine in them. I think the only reason they're not very expensive is because they're front-wheel drive. I think if they were rear-wheel drive, it'd be quite an expensive car, because they're really pretty and a fantastic engine, and you can make them sound pretty good. But anyways, this one, we've sold it because we've got other things we need to do. It's taken too long, and I've got still my house, and Phil's got other cars he keeps buying that he's got to pay for. So,
I think there is a moral to the story, though, for the two guys that are listening. Don't buy, whatever you do, don't buy a outdoor cover for your car, because it actually promotes deterioration, declination, and paint deterioration, and every other component gets screwed up by them.
The indoor dust covers are fine if you're actually indoors, but yeah, agreed. It's a bit of a mess, but I really like those GTVs. My first Italian car and first I'd say a car with a really special engine was a GTV. I've still got it. It's quite badly rotten, so the other thing we're doing this week is looking at that to try and work out if it's salvageable.
Would you just like to tell the viewer that it's the only car that you've named as well?
Yeah, it's called Alfie, which I know is very original for an Alfa Romeo, but the sills are shot on it, and I've been quoted 3,000 to 5,000 to fix them. Our new in-house mechanic at iGNiTiON, who'll be starting soon. Get the plug in there, if you want the work doing. Yeah, we can sort that out. Paul, he's a skilled welder, but he's looking at it. It's going to take a long time, and then there's lots of other mechanical bits wrong with it as well. And I don't really want the car stuck on a ramp, because hopefully we're going to have your cars, not you two, but the other two who are watching it, our listener plus one. We want their cars. Yeah, we want their cars on the ramp and paying us, rather than my car occupying it. And so I don't know what I'm going to do there. I've been looking at maybe buying another one, because I've also sold my 147 now. The guy's bought it, and it's winter, and I don't want to be using my Ferrari, so I'd like
He wants another bloody car.
Yeah, something I can use for a bit of fun. So that's sort of what I've been looking at. I've been looking at whether I fix that GTV or buy another one, and I've got a lot of trick parts on my one I could swap over onto it. I don't know. So trying to make my mind up, but easier said than done. As Chris said, I fitted electronic ignition to my Ferrari last week, which has been a constant problem with the car. The ignition's always been hassle. And then we've been trying to time it up using the timing gun, but I think the timing gun was faulty. I think we got it there or thereabouts, but we just need to get the right timing gun to do that. And then a few other bits and bobs just to get that working. But yeah, that's been my week. No, not enough driving fun cars is what I'll say.
Or no driving fun cars, I think, for most of us.
It's just working on them, and that is winter a bit for you, isn't it? But sorry, there is one interesting thing, is trying to plan a road trip. We're trying to do at the moment for us guys, to go away for a weekend and try and have a bit of fun in our cars before the weather really gets cack. So we're thinking about northern France, Ardennes, Belgium, Luxembourg, something like that for a 3.5 day trip, hopefully in a couple of weeks' time. So that's what we're looking for. If you're interested in joining us, let us know.
Can you pray for sun?
Yes, if you can do your sun dance.
Dance? I don't know quite what.
I don't know. We'll all have a go. We'll figure something out. Pray to whichever deity you deem fit. So yeah, so that's my week in cars. So next subject then, guilty pleasures. What do you think a definition of a guilty pleasure in the car world is, Chris? What do you think? What's the definition? What?
I would actually liking something which you wouldn't actually like to have to admit to. I think actually,
Yeah.
it's a bit like I think at least one person on this podcast rather likes those the Chrysler Crossflows, whatever they're called. And I'm afraid there's just no reason why anybody should ever like one of them. And that would have to be a very dirty and guilty secret.
I mean, I suppose the sort of one description is basically any event's cars would also be a good. Guilty. No, the Corrado is quite good, to be fair. You're right. It's like, for me, it's that car you're driving with a grin on your face until you see your friends. Yeah, that's my view. Do you agree? Is that the definition for you, Phil, of a
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
guilty pleasure? So in the car world, then, what's your guilty pleasure?
Myself, I daren't say it. I forgot to say it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've got a bit of a thing for old Leylands. British Leyland.
Old Leylands.
Old British Leylands. I found myself more than once at the Great British Car place in Derbyshire.
Oh, yeah.
Poring over Morris Marinas, thinking, oh, that was one of my first cars, and of which I spent hours twatting around with, trying to make it look like it wasn't a Marina. It was a coupe, you know.
La-di-da.
And I did actually have a moment when I bought the M2, thinking, oh, I've not really moved on far. I've got a rear-wheel drive, two-door coupe.
I think the BMW engineers might argue that it's a slight improvement from a Marina.
It's just if you take it right back to its basics, it's no different, is it?
Well, no, I guess so. Yeah. What's the? I'm trying to think. What the really is it?
Would you like to know some of the Leylands I've owned?
Go on then. Yeah, go on then.
I'll tell the whole of the audience.
This should be our, what was it when we were talking about Ignition being a church and we have to do confession.
It's your safe space.
Yeah.
No,
This
it's a
should
safe
be a
space, Phil.
confession. So I passed my test in an Allegro. Johnny Smith has got one of those on his videos at the moment. That was quite an interesting guy. I went banger racing when I was in an under 15-year-olds banger team in an Austin Cambridge, which my dad did a lot of things to make it safe for banger racing 40 years ago.
It was, yeah.
Yeah. Cable tied in place, scaffold poles and all sorts.
Cardboard poles painted.
They're probably actually lead pipe rather than scaffold poles.
Make it look like
I've had two Austin Ambassadors. I've started off with a small engine 1.7 one, which was dreadful. Moved on to a 2-litre, which was equally as dreadful.
Don't they still make them in India or something? Yeah, Ambassador.
Yeah. I'm not sure if you're referring to the wedge-shaped ones or the much more classic 1930s ones.
It's like a 50s rounded thing, isn't it?
Yeah, no, that's a different sort of Ambassador. And I don't think it was even Leyland, or it may have been. I don't know.
Oh, I thought
it's like a princess.
I was going to say I thought the Ambassador. I was just looking at a picture. I thought that was a princess. What's the difference?
Sadly enough, I know.
Come on.
The princess only has a boot lid, like an Allegro, whereas the Ambassador is a hatchback. And that's the difference.
Right.
And then...
Go on, sorry.
Following on from the Ambassadors, I had lots of Rover SD1s, so they were Leyland, but they were actually quite nice and quite good.
So I used to live near a really, really nice old boy who had a unit. Incredibly skilled guy. Could do everything. Make body panels from sheet metal. He could trim interiors, rebuild engines, literally everything. I think he used to work on Bentleys and Rolls Royces and things back in the day, and he's sort of down south somewhere, and he moved up to rural Lincolnshire, and he's bought this house that's got a huge unit. Did you ever come and have a look around there, Chris, or not?
Yeah, me and Trevor went and looked at the house. He took us on a full tour. Yeah, all his everything. I mean, he must have had 30 or 40 pillar drills.
Yes, that were all like massively industrial.
Yes,
fantastic condition as well, like 50s stuff. Yeah,
he probably had 200 grand's worth of snap-on equipment.
Are you set to inherit that as well, Chris?
No.
I can't remember his name actually, but Andy, that's it. Really, really nice old boy though, weren't he? And he sort of semi-retired, but was still doing renovations on cars, so you could have your car renovated. He did a few bits for me over the years. And he was a specialist in Austin Princesses. And he'd done something, I think something he'd done that was like a major fix on the Princess that had figured out like something and made a component or a body panel or something you couldn't get anywhere else or something like that. So he became like the man to have your Austin Princess restored by. And there was one in there that was going out the door that was, full restoration, full repaint, rebodied all the rust, bare metal respray, rewired, engine rebuilt, and retrimmed this car. And I was like, how much do you charge for that? He's like, well, this one was $5,000. And you're looking at it and you're thinking, what? And he's like, well, the car's probably only worth $3,000, so I can't charge more than that. But you're doing £100,000 worth of work. You need to be restoring Ferraris or something like that, because the skill still, he's making all the panels on English wheels and all, incredibly skilled guy. I said to him, he needs to get a trainee in there because those skills are not around.
They're dying out.
Walking away from the lot.
Sorry?
When he sold the house, he was selling everything, including the cars.
I think he's still got it. So what happened was he sold some bits of the house because there was like multiple bits, weren't there?
It had an original blacksmith hearth and everything
like
as a side building, and that's definitely gone because you can see
that
gone
really nicely. The guy who's done it up's done a really good job. But this is all in Billingborough, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, nice bloke and done it great. I think he may have sold half of the unit and some of his cars off and things like that. But yeah, so yeah, that's my knowledge of the Princess. I saw some concourse restoration princesses, and yeah. Weren't they really technologically advanced at the time?
I suppose they were with the suspension. Is that hydroelastic or hydrogas? I'm not sure which one.
Did it have a digital dash?
The Ambassador did in some of them, but I think the one that most people remember is the Maestro, which had a digital dash and it could speak to you, like put your seatbelt on, dickhead, and stuff like that.
I wonder because he was telling me something about it, but maybe I'm getting confused. Yeah, okay. That's a good guilty secret. That really is a good one. Because if you turned up in a Princess at Ignition, I'd die laughing, I think.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
I'll get you one as well, Chris.
Thank you.
I wrote a couple down. Some of them more embarrassing than others, I suppose. Although I think the Princess takes the biscuit, really. But I really like a Mark 1 Audi TT. And I say this expecting people to be like, yeah, no, they're right. And nobody seems to sort of say that. But I think that they're a bit of a design icon, really. And there's not many cars that were look like, a concept car on the road, but for a reasonable price. Usually they were astronomically expensive. And now you can buy one for a couple of £1,000s. I just look at and think, if you got the right spec and the right, either a 225... 1.8T BAM engined, four-wheel drive one Quattro, or a V6 Mark 1 TT in the right colour and spec with the right wheels on it, not silly mileage, you wouldn't pay a lot for it, and I think it'd be quite a nice thing. And everything inside feels really, I don't know if you've had much experience of them, but everything inside is really well built, lovely interior.
Do you not think though, just the silhouette is very close to the Boxster?
Maybe, but it's the details which really defines it to me. When you get round, you look at the you know, all the shapes and everything.
I love some of the dials, how they're billet machine, don't they?
Proper, some of they're aluminium. Yeah, you touch them, they're all cold. I don't know, just the way the lights are and I don't know. I just think they did a really good job on it, and it had a bit of. Go on, sorry.
They haven't done that on any of the following on cars, have they? Like the next Audi TT
they were
is a
so
bit
generic.
plasticky.
The next ones.
It makes you wonder actually how much money they actually. I don't know how profitable it was for them, but
I think it was good for their PR because they sold a lot of them. But they looked like they definitely cheapened them and made them more generic. Like the TT, I know it was based on a Mark IV Golf, which is not a great car, but the rest of it was very bespoke. The interior wasn't shared with anything. Like when you sit in it, everything felt. This is not like any other car Audi made.
It felt like a sports car, didn't it?
Yeah. Whereas the next generation TT, you sat inside, it's like this is an Audi A3. You know, it was.
They share so many parts, don't they?
They do,
switches, door handles.
Yeah, so I wonder whether that, you know, I quite like them. I think they're quite cool. I think I'd get laughed at a lot if I bought one and drove around in it. So I feel that ticks the box. I've always wanted a Honda CRX, and I feel like now I'm probably a bit too. I don't know, too old for it, but I think again I'd look a bit stupid driving around in a CRX. But I just like the idea of that little 1.6 Rev.
You don't need a Honda CRX to look stupid.
Don't know, I know. Yeah, it looks stupider, enhanced the stupidness. When I was younger, I had a Peugeot 406 Coupe V6, which there's a running theme of my cars when I was younger. I kind of, and if you look at them from a distance, squinting, which I know I always look like I am squinting when I'm looking at cars, you could maybe think it was a Ferrari, which is also why I liked Toyota MR2s, because I always, you know. But with the V6, it was like, oh, Pininfarina design, it's basically a Ferrari, and, you know, the engine makes a good-ish noise, but, you know, in comparison to I was 19 or something, that was quite a good engine. But, yeah, I occasionally look at one and think, yeah, I'd like to have one of those again, and then sort of... No, I'm not so sure. And then the last one I could think of, one of my friends had one, is a Ford Sport KA, first generation. not the convertible one. All right, before you give me too much slack, the little hatchback thing. One of the nice.
Did it have a centre exhaust?
I can't.
Or is that just a fog light in the back in the centre? I can't remember.
I think it's not got a centre exhaust. What I would say up there in at least the top 5, if not higher, gearboxes I've ever used in a car. Bear in mind, I've got a gated manual Ferrari. That's no exaggeration. The Ford Sport KA gearbox is fantastic. Beautiful little short shift, really nice sort of motion. And handling, great fun. I remember, because it was a young lad who got it for her, we went to test drive it, and I had to drive it home because he wasn't insured in it yet. And it's not fast. I think it's got 90 something horsepower, 98 horsepower, something like that. But you like, it's a challenge in maintaining momentum. You know, you go into a corner.
You don't touch the brakes.
Don't slow down. Don't go around a roundabout. Don't slow down. And it's so fun. And then when you do have to speed up, because it's not fast, you really have to, like, the speed you can make up is when you're shifting gears, not in accelerating. And I'll tell you, if you've never had a go in one, it's a really fun car that you can buy for no money at all. And maybe we should do a road trip in them. That'd be good.
Yeah.
See, this is why it's a guilty pleasure.
Like Oxford or somewhere.
Yeah, this is why it's a guilty pleasure. Nobody agrees. That's the point. It's good. I'm fine with that. What
you
about...
could do yourself a little road trip on your own in it, couldn't you?
He would be on his own because we'd just leave him.
I would much rather take a Ford Sport KA than a Austin Princess.
Well.
But that's why it's a guilty pleasure.
At least could put a tow bar on the Princess to tow the Sport KA back.
I don't think the Princess is more reliable than a Sport KA. When were they made? In the 80s by British Leyland.
In between strikes.
Although, the Sport KA likes to rust. That'd be a good competition. Put them both outside in the rain and see which one dissolves.
You might struggle to find one, actually. I think most of them have rusted away.
What, the Sport KAs?
Yeah.
Well, they're worth nothing, so fixing them...
They're worth nothing, so no one's going to do anything to them. They're just going to sit in a garden and rot.
Do you reckon they'd be rare? Is that worth buying one and parking?
Maybe we should do Yeah, maybe that is a start of a road trip, of a horrendous road trip we could go on.
What's that? In
We have to go in KAs or something.
Sport KAs to the Sahara.
But they come with AC. Please tell me they came with AC.
At least it's budget friendly. But
Yeah.
they do like to overheat because they didn't really think about putting a 1.6 litre engine in a Ford KA. So they've got real bad overheating and head gasket problems. We did the head gasket on Quinn's. So yeah, it's a renowned thing. But what about you, Chris? What's your guilty pleasure? You must have one.
So I guess it's my love of minis. I have quite liked a mini, but they've been actually my wife's minis I've usually quite liked. And I think was it actually the first proper road trip abroad with you guys? I think was it you were in an S5, Audi S5,
RS5, yeah,
RS5,
yeah,
and Johnny was in a particularly dirty diesel, pushing out a fair amount of power, wasn't it? It was in an Audi A5, but remapped up to the max. Yes. And I went away in a 1.6 diesel Mini. And somehow I'm sort of kept up with you guys. I think I broke every speed limit. Well, yes.
Don't break speed limit.
Let's just say I was in triple digits most of the time trying to keep up.
In kilometres.
But in kilometres, obviously, yes. And but and I have got photo evidence of that. And also probably then my wife's always liked minis, so we moved on, and a more modern, which would be so that was an R60, whatever they were, an R61, I think. So then we moved on, and she got was it the F56, I think it was. So this was the three-cylinder BMW engine.
It was black with pink stickers, if I remember.
It was black. It came with some pink. Then my wife decided we would have pink camouflage on the roof. So it had pink stripes, pink roof with black camouflage on it. And I had an option. My wife said she wanted to go to the Nürburgring, because actually the first trip my wife ever did abroad with me was actually to the Nürburgring in my Ford Mondeo company car. And so I had the option of taking the Z4 or going in a Mini. So I ended up going in the Mini to keep people happy. And to be truthfully honest, it was pretty damn fun, actually. And I managed to go past a 4-litre Boxster in it. And I reckon that bloke sold the car afterwards, is all I'm going to say. And obviously there'll be some pictures probably go up of me driving this Mini around the Nürburgring. But actually, it was pretty good, actually.
That first trip that you mentioned, that was quite a funny one, because Johnny had that diesel A5. And I think it was early days of EcoMax, wasn't it? It sort of was fairly new into...
Well, we were fixing it the night before it went. It needed a new water pump, wasn't it?
And the whole journey. So yeah, we went to Johnny's workshop at EcoMax before we left, didn't we, to meet up? And he was just about to start changing the water pump as we're about to leave. So we fit a new water pump, and then he put like a stage 2 map with hybrid turbos on it or something like that. Very recently before we're about to go on the trip. And his passenger, the guy on the passenger seat, said the whole time just pressing reset on the...
Clearing fault codes, so he had turbo boost.
Clearing fault codes the whole way there, like every 5 minutes. Because he was desperate for this diesel A5 to be faster than my RS5. So we'd constantly be like, right, come on, we're going to do a speed out of this toll booth and see if I can beat you. And then you'd go to fault and he wouldn't. And it's like, right, we're going to try and do a roll on. He was trying to find there was one criteria. He was sure where that car would be faster than the RS5, but it just went into fault every time. Probably. Yeah, it just went into fault every time. It was hilarious. But that was part of his proving ground. That doesn't happen now if you buy an EcoMax tuning. It's spot on. So don't. Especially,
and he has agents now all over the UK. Well, in Leicester anyway.
He does. You're one of them, aren't you?
Oh, I am, yes.
Yes, that's very good. So yes, and we have to be nice to Johnny because he lent me a fault. Well, so did you. Both of you lent me fault codes readers earlier today. So yes, EcoMax. And what's your one, Phil? Map It Better.
Forgotten.
Map It Better.
Oh yes, that one. Yes.
There we go.
I thought you were about Fleckney Autofix.
Map It Better, Johnny.
As well. Yeah, very good. For our 2 viewers, I'm sure the orders will be rushing in for both of you guys.
They will, yeah.
That's going to change your year. Good. Okay. Moving on then. So, can you enjoy driving on the road still? is sort of the next point. When I don't know about you, if you buy a nice car and you talk to non-car people, they're like, "Oh, what's the point? You can't use it." Is that something you guys have heard?
All the time.
Yeah.
You can only do 70.
Ago,
you can only do 30.
Yeah.
Boring.
Well, I think they're missing the point, really, aren't they? Is my sort of view on it. But you can see why they think that, because if you just drive around town, you're stuck in traffic. You've got speed cameras everywhere, potholes, speed bumps. You know, you can't enjoy yourself in that environment, can you? And sometimes even driving cross country, you know, if you're on commuter routes or whatever, it's pretty. It's hard sometimes to picture enjoying driving, isn't it, in the UK?
Yeah,
absolutely.
And as I say, I was like that 2 weeks ago. But you just have to have one good day or one good half an hour, and it changes a lot. It different, you know, everything's different again.
I agree. I'm not getting on with my 4C at the moment. I've not driven it properly in ages. I've had a bit of a bad back for a while, and I keep moaning about that. I still don't get any sympathy, so you know. But anyway, I'll keep dropping it in until somebody, you know, maybe I'll put some violin music.
You've already got one GoFundMe bloody running. We're not now paying for your back bloody surgery.
Yeah, we need the second round. But because I've not been getting on well with that car, and the only few times I've driven it this year, realistically, was getting, you know, we went out for a drive and we just ended up being stuck in traffic or whatever. So, and you just come back and you just feel rubbish about it. So it can really ruin it, I think. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Where's the opportunities? Where can you enjoy cars still?
I think a lot of it comes to it's not all about speed. You know, people say, "Oh, you can only do 70. Why have you got a car that does 150?" That's not what we're all about, is it? A lot of it is down to the community and the people you're out with and the destinations you go to. One place we haven't been to that I really want to is the Motorist at Leeds. Just to drop that in there. So, you know, all these places that we can go to build the car community, and you gain friendship out of it. And again, we keep mentioning mental health. I think it's a big help to mental health. You know, the fact that we drive a nice car, you can drive a nice car and you can drive a fast car within the speed limits and still get a great deal of enjoyment. Obviously, stuck in the traffic, you don't. But get into the open roads, the countryside, and just drive like a free spirit. You get a lot of pleasure out of that. So I think there's arguments on both sides. My argument is always, yes, I enjoy driving, and I can enjoy driving in the UK.
What about you, Chris?
Well, I know on the last Ignition, so we're talking about a month ago, I turned around to James, who helps run Ignition as well, and basically said, I've pretty much given up. I just haven't had any enjoyment for so long. And then what was it, last weekend? When did we go for breakfast?
Week before.
Week before. And you get a bit of open road and things change. And then since then, I've pretty much driven my car every 3 or 4 days. Just got to pick the time and pick the right road.
Right frame of head, like frame of mind,
yes.
Or whatever. Yeah. No, I
just don't let things get to you. If you get stuck in a bit of traffic, you'll just turn off that road and find another road. There's plenty of, I mean, when you consider where we live, you just stuck Calimoto on, didn't you? And we found some incredibly quiet roads where, again, you haven't got a speed or anything, but just open roads, not having anything else on the road with you is all you want, open road.
So yeah, Calimoto is a motorcycle app that works really well for cars as well, and it's like a sat nav, but doesn't get you there fast. It gets you there on twisty roads, basically. And
just like Waze.
Yeah, but it is really good. We've used it a few times.
We used it Goodwood, didn't we?
Yeah, we had a great weekend.
We did 4 or 5 hours or something on it. Incredible.
No traffic, all good roads. It was really good. Yeah, I suppose there's multiple parts for this for me, I guess. So you've got if you want to go and have fun, you've got to go and find where to have fun, haven't you, to start off with? So you've got to go and find, for me, good roads is important. I like twisty roads. Is my sort of preference. I have no interest in, I cruise up and down motorways at the speed limit because I just don't want any hassle with my license. I just want to put it on cruise control and not think about it. But I want to go and find a nice twisty road and really enjoy it. You want ones that's not got too much traffic on it, ideally. So the Peak District's hard. We used to always love driving in the Peak District, but in the summer, there's so many tourists there that you can't enjoy it. You you're in traffic the whole time pretty much. Unless the only time to do it is really early in the morning. We went to do that
The
event.
Star.
The La South
South of the North
with the Pigs Will Fly. That was really good.
I apologise to anybody in those campsites in the Peak District on that Sunday morning.
It was like 7 o'clock, wasn't it? So, but that's the time to go. Or sunrise or sunset is the way to do that, isn't it? And you can get clear roads, so that's good. So that's part of it. It's the road, the location, the time of day sometimes, like you say, or time of week to avoid the traffic. And the car, I think, is an important one as well. For me, some people not so bothered, but for me, and I'm sounding like an old fart here, and it's probably you've heard me talk about this quite a bit, but I think you've got to find a car that you enjoy driving slowly. In the UK, especially.
Yeah.
Abroad, you can stretch your car's legs a lot more. There's a lot more opportunity, and the roads are quieter and bigger. So you can have a lot more, you can open up a car a lot more abroad. But in England, I think finding a car that is fun to drive slowly is really good. It doesn't necessarily mean a slow car either. I mean, it can do. And I guess I'll give you a couple of examples. So I had a Porsche 997 Carrera S about 7 years ago, sort of in my early 30s. And I remember it, and I've said this a few times, driving down to the shops in it, at speed limit or whatever, you could have been in any car really. It could have been in a Golf or something like that. It was fairly, it was comfortable, it was quiet, it was refined, it had working air conditioning and good heating and all that, heated seats and everything. And it didn't really set my trousers on fire until you got onto a back road, and then it really did. You get on a back road and you're bouncing off the rev limiter, and it was amazing. And I think that's what Porsches are. That that was absolutely brilliant. But you had to drive it like that to get that sense of satisfaction out of it. Now, I think your era of Porsche is a very different thing, Phil, because with a classic car, you get a completely different experience all the time. But for me, driving that 911, 5 minutes down to the shops to pick up some whatever, and driving it back again, I might as well have just taken my whatever daily was at the time. And then afterwards, I bought a Maserati Grand Sport, which somebody we know well owns now. And firing that up with the V8 engine wobbling away in the background and a few engine warning lights coming on and all of that, and driving down the road, and it's got an F1 automated manual gearbox that sort of shunts you as you're going down the road. But it felt like an experience, even driving at 30 miles an hour down to the shops. Get it on a back road, it's great at low speed and at high speed, which I really, really liked that car. I had it quite a long time, did a fair few miles in it. And I think that's, like, for me, a really good example of a car that's technically worse. Like the 911 was, a better car. But for me and how I like to use it, I really enjoyed the Maserati Grand Sport. So that's still 400 horsepower, Ferrari V8 engine car. So it's not slow, it's 4-point-something seconds to 60 and 180 mile an hour or something car. But you could enjoy driving it slow, which was good.
I think there's a lot to be said about the classic cars, like you just said about the Porsche that I own and the Ferrari you own, that they're both capable of well over 100 mile an hour, but you get more fun driving them just normally.
Yeah.
Or as normally as you want to drive them.
Well, what I would say about those two cars as well, though, the difference between that and the Maserati, with the Maserati, I don't know what the 0 to 100 time is, but under 10 seconds, you're at 100 miles an hour, aren't you? And it can quite come. Whereas our cars are very different from that, because they're sort of 6.5, 7 seconds to 60 and quite a bit to 100. So that's the other end of it. That you can either get the faster cars that are still fun to drive slowly, or you can buy the older cars, which you drive them fast, but you're still going slow. So you run.
I think the Grand Sport's quite unique. It's one of those unique cars, as you said. It's an experience, whatever, within that vehicle.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, one advantage of it, like your Porsche and also your Ferrari, is I also think part of the enjoyment, even if you drive down the shops in it, it's actually for other people to appreciate the vehicle.
Very much so.
You look at what both of you have had in terms of, how people look about the vehicle and things. And it goes back to what we said about the Lamborghini and things, and the bad experience you got from that ownership. And it just shows you how much, and that gives you enjoyment, just seeing people get enjoyment from the vehicle itself, seeing it out on the road. I mean, often I'm following you when you're in your Ferrari, and it's the amount of head turns you just see. I mean, it's mainly middle-aged, well, even actually, probably any male, most males will turn around and actually look, especially middle-aged men, and they are literally watch it go down the road.
That's why I bought it, to
because you want to attract those middle-aged
men.
Yeah, that was the reason. But no, you're right. I mean, with the older cars, you can really feel like you're thrashing them and still not be going silly speed, can't you? And I mean, our cars. Your 4C is a
bit of that example of you falling out of love with it, and I think some of that is because in normal driving, it's noisy, it's not particularly comfortable, and the problem is, unless you're on a European road where it's nice and smooth, you look how good their B roads are compared to what we have, and you can enjoy it. You can't in this country. You got to worry about it grinding out. You got to look at it. It's just so many worries you have in this country with that vehicle because of the state of our roads. You don't want to hit a pothole because you're likely bloody nearly tear a wheel off. You got to be careful you don't bloody bottom out because you've got a carbon fibre tub and things like, it's an endless list of worries, and it's not comfortable. It's noisy, and it's all road surface in this country, knocks, bangs, everything.
Let's just hope that the viewer doesn't want to buy a 4C, because after that he's never buying it, is he?
Well, not maybe that one.
The 4C is an interesting one, isn't it? Because I'm sort of frustrated with it at the moment, but probably two of my favourite moments in car, or in my top 10 at least of favourite moments in cars, are in a 4C across the Alps or on Red Rock Road or wherever, Col de Torini or something. And in those scenarios, it was amazing. And sometimes on a certain road in the Peak District or a certain twisty road in Rutland or Lincolnshire, it's also amazing, but it's terrible on your commute to work. That's all I will say. It is when you're 25, it'd be amazing. Ollie's got one, and he's 25, isn't he? And he's gutted because he's having to sell it to move house. It's a nice toy, but So I think what we're getting to is you've got to pick your road. You've got to pick your time of day or week to avoid the traffic. Have a car that you can actually enjoy. There's no point having 600-700 horsepower on a fun car in England. You're just not going to be able to open it up. You're going to be, either crashing into the car in front of you or doing silly speeds in no time. If you've got something like that, you need to go to Europe or track days or stuff, I guess, to really, exploit those cars properly. That's kind of it. But so we're saying yes, you can still enjoy cars on the road.
You can, but you've got to be in the right frame of mind.
That's also very important. We went out a couple of months ago after work one night, didn't we? For a drive round Rutland, and I think we went to posh McDonald's afterwards, didn't we, in Oakham?
Yeah.
And I just was not in a good place. I took the 4C and I just couldn't get into it at all. Really couldn't enjoy it.
It was just a drive for drive's sake that night.
Which is a shame. It was a shame. So our fantasy road trip this week kind of ties in with that theme, really. So I think this is a good one. Again, not really a road trip, I suppose. But so I'm going to and not that fantasy either. So I'm going to call it the not so fantasy, not road trip. That'd be a good T-shirt, wouldn't it? So here we go. We live in England. Sounds familiar. The roads are not in great condition, usually full of traffic, and when they are clear, have speed cameras, speed bumps, etc. You love cars, and you want to be able to enjoy them on your home turf. You want something that clearly identifies you as a petrolhead, that you can take to a cars and coffee event, at a well-established, reputable cars and coffee event, like iGNiTiON, obviously.
There are other car events available.
Are they as good, though? I mean, yeah. Obviously. And be proud to take it to one of those events and go for a drive with your friends, okay? So it's got to be, something quite interesting, I guess, from that perspective. but also can be fully exploited on UK roads. You can really go and have some fun on the back roads. Usual budget, £0 to £100,000 with £25,000 intervals. So I think Phil got, was it Phil? You're 0 to
20. I got the cheap cars.
You're 0 to 25. Ed was going to be 25 to 50, but he's not here. But I've picked something for him anyway that I think is on brand for him. I was 50 to 75, and Chris was 75 to 100. Is that right?
So I think so. Well, it better be because I picked something in this 75 to 100 range.
So Phil, what is your car for this challenge?
Well, my car does have sports heritage, so that's interesting. But what I'd like to say before we start is that I think that one of the most important things about a car when you're choosing it for road trips or for going to events and a bit of self-showing off is that you've got to, everybody will have heard this said before, when you get out of the car and you walk away, you've got to look back and think, yeah, that's my car. And so the car I've chosen would actually fall into that category, even at the £0 to £25,000 budget. So I've chosen a Lotus Elise. Again, it's got racing heritage. It's small, nimble, lightweight. I don't suppose there's much in the way of practicality or comfort in it. I've driven a couple, and to be honest, I have to make quite a special effort to roll out of them. Chris, you can probably concur with that.
Roll out.
You don't just step out of one. It's a mission getting out of the 4C.
It is,
isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
But a Lotus Elise is worse, a lot worse. The one I've chosen, I've got a few facts and figures on it. I bought this one. It's a 2007, 3 previous owners. What was interesting to me, though, you can use it as a daily because it would do 32 to the gallon on the combined cycle. I thought, for saddos that are worried about what cars do to the gallon, that's really good.
They don't weigh anything, do they? I guess it makes sense.
No, 0 to 60 of 5.2 seconds, does 150 mile an hour. Going back to the previous topic, probably way too fast for UK roads, but you can still take it abroad, still use it around the Alps. It'd be fun. But also on the brief you've given us, I think it's a nice little car to take to shows, to cars and coffee events. We don't have a great deal of turnout of Lotus at Ignition, so perhaps we should have some more people with Lotus coming.
Yeah. No, good.
So I think that would be an ideal car for me. And I think anybody that gets out of a Lotus Elise is definitely saying, yeah, I'm into cars. Because you wouldn't buy one if you wanted to go somewhere comfortably.
No. That's a really good one, actually. It's probably the best answer for that. I mean, under 25,000 is actually, I think, the best category for this question. Because there's a lot of fun cars you can buy under 25.
And value for money.
Yeah.
Something which feels like it's actually value for money.
Yeah. And when you just talk about something to use on like a UK road, but you still want to, clearly a petrol head, there is quite a lot in that under 25 grand mark. I've always wanted, it's not really a guilty pleasure because it's a perfectly respectable car, but I've always wanted the first generation Honda Integra Type R. And you can get one of those for 10 grand or just under, something like that, which I know is not nothing, but it's achievable, isn't it? And they've got those red Recaro seats in them. I think like the engine and gearbox are handmade by Honda Racing on the first generation Integra, and like the gearbox is mated to the engine, and like, they're adjusted specifically for that engine. I think they're like blueprinted crankshafts and things like that. Like, it's a properly special thing. Seam welded body, lightweight, all that kind of thing. Like homologated race car basically for 10 grand-ish, something like that. And
can you think of another car that's seam welded like that for rally purposes?
For not that kind of money,
is there?
I mean, you get like the homologated Celicas, the WRC Celicas, or things like Integra, Lancia Delta Integrales and stuff like that. But they're all a lot more money. And I bet Integra would be more fun most of the time as well, like VTEC engine. So, I think 25 grand's where it's at and under for this challenge. There's loads of cars in that category, but the Elise is probably, the best all-round sports car in that price, isn't it? Mid-engined, lightweight. Good answer.
Obviously, we've talked about me owning that Boxster. And that just doesn't scream I'm a petrolhead, does it? At all. It screams I want a Porsche or I want a convertible, but I'm quite happy with something that appears very sensible and is really quite a low budget car.
The thing with the Boxster, there's no compromises required, are there? So
No.
that's why
No.
there's a few cars that like that. Like, I think the BMW Z4 fits in that category as well. That there's no, you could buy one of those cars if you weren't a petrol head because there's no downside to it.
No, they're very serviceable, very usable.
Yeah. But it's also a brilliant driver's car. There's no doubt about that either. So it's just that it's not clear. It's not that it's not a petrol head's car, but it's not clearly obvious that you are one because you could have just bought one because you wanted a convertible and you wanted a BMW or a Porsche badge on it. Whereas Lotus Elise, that's a compromise, to buy that, isn't it? And it's the same with like the Honda Integra Type R. And we had that conversation, I think, about your 350Z as well, didn't we, Chris, when you bought that? That there's compromises to having it that means that only petrol heads will buy that. There's not somebody buying it because it looks flat.
Yeah, you don't pay that much road tax.
Yeah. Yeah. So, good answer. Very good. 25 to 50 was Ed. I was toying with doing like an Ed impression and putting a separate screen in, but I didn't want to do that.
Because he won't come back.
Yeah, we want him on next week. So.
Oh, do we?
Well, yeah. So, Ed, my way of searching for this was I put the budget 25 to 50 in to Car and Classic, and set it from like 1985 to 2000 and Volkswagen. And I was like, what's in that category? And then sort of thought what would Ed like? And really interesting car that would be great for those winter roads, but still turn up to a Cars and Coffee event and in something rare, I think, would be a Volkswagen Golf G60 Rally. And now, I don't know if you guys are familiar with those at all, but it was a Mark II Golf with a supercharged 1.8 litre engine, which they later put in the Corrados, with flared wheel arches and four-wheel drive. Really rare, and it was a Group A rally car. I think it did appallingly bad in the actual rallying, but the G60 Rally road car is a homologated Group A rally car, which is quite cool. Not something Volkswagen have done, I don't think, since really. And they're just under 50,000. I found one abroad for like 48,000. I'll put the details of it up there. But I thought it's very Ed. He likes an old Volkswagen. And the best thing is I've managed to steal a future answer for him because he definitely was going to talk about a G60 Rally at some point. So we'll see if he watches this one and realises it's already been stolen. So, to break it up so I'm not going straight into the next one, Chris, do you want to do yours first? Your 75 to 100.
Would I realistically ever buy? Well, if I had the money, would I? I don't think they're worth it, the money, but it's a car I've always wanted. I think actually it's a pretty good car for the UK roads. Would be a BMW E30 M3. I found one in particular I rather like. It is in white actually, which wasn't necessarily my first pick, but a white BMW. It was actually an XJK car, so Jamiroquai's car. It was used in a rally, so it's fully specced out, fully roll caged, still got all the internals in it. It's had a lot of upgrades done it, 260 brake horsepower. And I just think with the roll cage, I haven't even got to worry if I leave the road or hit I'm sorted. And I reckon, and it reckons it's actually particularly good on the road still, because that's always the problem when things have been fettled with. But no, that pretty much would sum me up. I think I could quite easily see that on a UK road. That
definitely is a petrol head car, isn't it?
No doubt about that.
Because nobody's going to buy a 3 Series BM for that sort of money unless it's very, very special.
How much is it, Chris?
What was it? It was where's it gone? €85,000.
Yes, it's a tax.
Crazy. I have to admit, that's why I have to start and open up the fact that I don't think they're worth the money. But if I could have one, I'd bloody have one.
I feel that way about like Evo 2 Delta Integrales. I feel like it'd be an amazing car for 25 grand, but for £75,000 or 80,000, it's just too much. And ultimately, you drive around in a hatchback, aren't you? So with 200 horsepower or something, I think you'd feel shortchanged at that level. But the M3 is a properly special car. So Have you seen? I think it was a Fifth Gear episode where they raced an E30 M3 against just a standard 16 valve Integrale.
Not seen it myself, no.
I was quite shocked. On track, bear in mind, so not in a rally environment. They're both of the same era, but one's a rally car, and I think it was an early Integrale, so it's not like the Evos or anything like that. And the Integrale beat it round a circuit, and I was quite surprised.
Partly weight?
I don't see why. I mean, the Integrale is 4-wheel drive. You know,
yeah, true.
It's a 4-door hatchback.
That'd be an interesting one to hunt out actually and watch.
It's on
that.
Fifth Gear, and I think Jason Plato drives them both around the Anglesey circuit. And I was really shocked.
I have a feeling I have seen it. It does, but a long time ago. Well, obviously it would have been. But
on a rally circuit, yes, you'd think hands down. But I mean, I suppose the Integrale was it 7 years in a row it won the World Championship? So it was quite a special thing, wasn't it? But
there was a big argument about the E30 M3 though, that it should have always had a much more powerful engine. Because it wasn't as powerful as the Cosworth Mercedes that it was supposed to be rivaling at the time, was it?
No.
Nowhere near.
What's that, the 190E, whatever it was? Yeah.
So perhaps it was.
I'd rather fancy one of them. And DTM guys, one of them would be rather nice, actually.
Well,
but not on a UK road, I don't think.
The Cosworth was kind of the reason why the E36 went into like a straight six and a bigger engine, wasn't it? And then that absolutely destroyed the 190 Cosworth, didn't it? It was like 100 horsepower over it or something like that. It was a huge BMW stretching their muscles there, weren't they? And then they've stuck with that ever since, really. But yeah, I think that's a good answer, to be fair, Chris, because the tendency when you're going 75 to 100,000 is to buy something more flashy or whatever, isn't it?
Well, I was even looking for an MC20 just because I want an MC20 at some stage, but
it wouldn't have been good for you.
But it wouldn't be suitable on UK roads. There's very little which you'd want to use on. I mean, to be truthfully honest, it's funny enough. I think actually classic cars almost come into the. Yeah, well, you go back to that sort of era where suspension was softer. I mean, an Alpine maybe. A BMW Alpine, because again they often have softer suspension. You need something which is compliant on the road.
Well, it's interesting you say about classic cars because the inspiration for this challenge was I watched Harry Metcalf's trip to the Lake District in his little Lancia.
The Zagato.
Oh, the yellow one, was it?
It's orange.
No, orange.
I had one.
Somebody else had a yellow one at one stage.
I had one, a Sprint Zagato.
I loved it.
It was a really cool car, and mine was only I think it was a 1.3 litre, but still.
It was a 1.3, yeah.
Proper little engine, wasn't it, for 1.3 litre?
It was an experience. The seats were an experience because when you accelerated or braked, it folded on you.
Yeah. Rust bucket though, that was. But yeah, so he, little 1.6 litre high revving engine, 150 horsepower and small car, and he was having a whale of a time, and he's got a Countach and a Diablo and a Project 8 and all that kind of thing. So yeah, for me, it's like the smaller cars and everything. So good answer, Chris. I think with an E30 M3, like I say, in the price, you could buy a supercar for the same thing, but if you've got a modernish supercar and you turn up to Cars and Coffee, most people are going to be a bit, there's a bit of that.
It's an easy petrol head win as well, actually, because you see less and less out because of the value of them. I think you see less and less. They're more concourse now than they are actually being used, probably.
It's instant.
Which I think is a shame.
It is.
Get these cars out in use.
Because they are a driver's car at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It's instant respect, isn't it? Pulling up an E30 M3. A car event, there's that's instant respect car driving into everyone's like, oh, blimmin' heck. But your missus or somebody else who's not into cars won't think anything of it, will they? Either, which I think is another good characteristic of a proper petrolhead car, and it's
especially with a roll cage in it.
Yeah, and they're just over 200 horsepower. I know this one's been tuned, but they're just over 200 horsepower normally, aren't they? So good.
Yeah, which isn't a great, as you say, isn't an actual great amount of power.
Yeah. So. My car is between 50 and 75,000, and it was nearly one of my guilty pleasure answers as well. Any guesses?
Plural, C3.
Yeah, no, I couldn't find one in my budget. If I had the lower budget, I'd have been straight out there. Any
Gold-plated
guesses?
CAC?
Sorry?
Gold-plated CAC?
No.
A gold-plated CAC?
No, it's not gold-plated. No. What brand's it going to be?
It's going to be an Italian turd.
Yeah.
Which brand?
A polished one.
Alfa Romeo.
So what could I be buying in that price bracket then?
Well, I'm not buying any in that price bracket or any Alfa Romeo.
That also is a guilty pleasure. I've always wanted and will own at some point an Alfa SZ. So
Really?
Oh yes, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I think they've got. I know they're called Il Monstro because they're.
That should have been in your guilty pleasures.
It should have been.
Hideous.
But I think they've got better with age. I'll put some pictures up on here of them at the good angles and things like that. They're a really interesting car. I don't know if you know much about them.
I'm going to put some pictures of cheese up out my fridge because that's as interesting as I think they are.
Oh, they're really interesting. There doesn't be passion can be hatred and love. Phil.
Indeed.
I mean, the rear is pretty awful on it.
In the middle is boredom, but passion is the extremes. So you hate it, so I love it. It's still, it's something to talk about, isn't it?
Yeah, we've both got feelings for it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. But when you actually look at it, the underpinnings of it is something like a Group 4 rally car or touring car.
It doesn't make it look any better.
No, but just when you sort of start looking underneath it. So it's got the underpinnings, I think, of an Alfa 75 touring car. Basically, it's got like inboard brakes, rear transaxle for 50/50 weight distribution. It's got a Busso V6 on the front end, but like the old style Busso, obviously longitudinally mounted rather than transverse. It's got electronically height adjustable suspension. So
is that done with the iron filing filled shock absorbers?
That does like the stiffness, doesn't it? But this actually literally raises and lowers the car by like 40 or 50 mil. So you can adjust really bizarre stuff like that. You're just like, what on this car? It's got no boot. Well, it's got a tiny little boot on the back, but it's basically got a wheel in it, and that's it. And then the rear, it's no rear seats, but it looks like there's room for 2 huge rear seats, but they've got like luggage straps on them, sort of these exposed rear seats, luggage area in the back. And the body is all made out of a type of composite plastic that Alfa Romeo were playing around with in the early 90s that's actually heavier than the steel panels that it could have been. And maybe it's like an anti-rust thing that Alfa Romeo were talking about, but what's actually happening now is the panels are all delaminating as well. So it's even worse in every way because you can't.
Oh, you've absolutely got to buy one.
Yeah. Oh, it's very me. But they're incredibly rare. They're built by Zagato, and for what people don't realise, they're incredibly sharp to drive. It's a really, really good driver's car. Obviously front engine, rear wheel drive, rear transaxle, good weight distribution. Suspension's got these special Coney dampers on it. And they're about, I think they're about 190 horsepower, something like that. So you're getting a really rare, interesting car that you're going to talk about. You're going to talk about how much you hate it, but I talk about how much I love it. But you're talking about it one way or another. It's not that powerful, but it's good handling. You're going to have great fun on a UK road in it.
It's going to beat Chris's M3. No, in a race, I mean.
Well, I don't know. No, his was 260 horsepower, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, the standard M3 wasn't that much,
they were
was
about
it?
200, just under.
Yeah.
About 210 or something, I think.
Yeah.
This is 0 to 60 in 7 seconds.
Yeah, it's not particular. I mean, in 1990 when it came out, that was pretty quick, wasn't it?
Quick, yeah.
But obviously not. But I think that's the right power level and the right kind of speed because you could really get through all the gears and enjoy that. And then it's incredibly rare. And you turn up at a car show, and yes, half the people there are going to hate it. Half the people there are going to love it. But nobody's going to look at it and say that's boring, are they?
Probably most people will take a photograph. Some people say, "Look at this thing that turned up."
Can you see
look at this that turned up.
Did this bloke do it in his own garage?
Yeah, it does look like it's a home-built kit car. It does, like especially when you look at the shut lines on it, they're absolutely comical because the panel's about that thick.
It looks like the sort of things Scimitar should have built.
Yeah. But I'd love one. I really want one, but they've got expensive. That's the problem. This one's got an auction guide price of 60,000, but they've been a lot more than that. So I can get one in my budget, but I think a few years ago one came up for sale for 40,000. That was a Cat, like 2 years ago. It was a Cat D. I tried to buy it before it came up for sale, and I called the bloke up.
Oh, you were
said,
sectioned.
Yeah, can I come and get it tonight? And he said, yeah, I've got somebody else coming already. You only put the listing up that day, and the guy got there first and bought it. So I ended up buying the bad Strad instead, which was a much worse financial thing, which we talked about last week. So
I think we could dedicate a whole episode of this to Lewis's impulse buying.
Because that's pretty much every day, isn't it? It's almost every day, Phil.
I think I went with you to impulse buy your Lancia Tegrale. Yes.
Who's coming this weekend?
What we're buying?
Yeah, but let's be truthful. I think it's also guilty pleasure. I think this is another guilty pleasure, actually, is what he wants to buy now.
We'll see. But interestingly, what we've talked about there, though, all the cars we've chose have. I mean, yours is a bit higher, but they're all less than 300 horsepower. They're all manual gearbox, older cars, and I think what we're saying, and I think it's true, is mostly for fun driving on UK roads that ticks all those boxes. That I think 400 horsepower is the most you want really to really exploit it. I mean, your M3 must feel like you're holding it back quite a bit on UK roads, Phil.
My M2.
Your M2.
Well, the M2 standard, the M2 competition standard is 410 horsepower.
Yeah.
My friend has one. He regularly comes out with me, and it's more than quick enough for UK roads. We've been to Scotland and done the old military road. In that, mine's a little bit more powerful, but
quite a bit more. I think.
Yeah, the standard M2 at 410 horsepower is more than enough for UK roads.
Yeah,
plenty.
And that's quite a heavy car by classic car standards.
I think mine's 1,600 kilo, 1,595, something like that. Whereas this is only just over 1,100.
Yeah, so like older cars, 250, 300 is more than enough, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'd bet.
But also their lighter power to weight ratio, I guess, is actually higher, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you were to compare them.
I always think in my 308 and your Porsche are fairly close on sort of performance, and I always think my 308 would be quite nice with an extra 30 or 40 horsepower just to give it that bit. When you want to overtake, sometimes you wish you had a bit more, is all I'd say. But the rest of the time, I'm totally happy with the level of power it's got. So yeah, good. Well, I know you thought that was going to be quite a boring fancy road trip, Phil, but I thought it was actually quite good in the end. So it's a shame that
the idea of staying in the UK bores me now.
I know. We need to get this trip finalised, don't we? And hopefully the weather will be good and we can go and have some fun on it. Any other rants? Any other business? No.
No, just watch the
mention,
Ferrari Challenge Cup on Sky Sports. It's brilliant.
Yeah, we'll give that a go. Chris, sorry.
And don't take your door off while abroad and drive.
Oh yes, Auto Alex.
Yes. Yeah, Auto Alex. Yeah, couldn't get his window working, so they took the door off.
Oh right.
And then when they got pulled over, it took a bit of explanation because the police were not happy
and got fined. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they Googled it and it said it was legal, but I think Italian police can make up whatever they want.
Well, I also think it was the fact that they realised they were actually filming it and then they posted pictures on Instagram. So it wasn't just somebody with an issue. It was actually them being a bit like, picking on Top Gear because they actually realised they're filming it rather than actually having a genuine issue.
I've got a bit of any other business. I just watched Johnny Smith's video on the new Honda Prelude. You guys seen this car?
No.
Not
have you got any experience of old Honda Preludes?
I've seen something about it. I have seen something about this. Just on a side note, did you see the bit I sent you literally earlier on the... I don't know, I haven't done the research on it, on a new S2000 potential?
Yes, I think it's just a rendering.
It's vaporware, I think.
Yeah.
But
yeah, no, nice looking thing.
Looked nice.
So I had a Prelude, but the last one before this one came out, which I think was like 2001, 2002, something like that.
I had a Prelude around that. I think it was 98, 99. It got four-wheel steering.
Yeah. So I had like a 2.2 VTEC, I think it was, something like that I had, and it was quite a cool car. But they were dirt cheap, and in fact, I'd look, they still are. They're one of the few Jap cars that haven't really gone. I think front wheel drive is a curse for a lot of cars. Like we talked about the GTV earlier. I think it got exactly the same problem. But so they brought out a new Prelude, which I'm not sure how I feel about it. The really good video by Johnny Smith. Quality of I'm not just saying that because he pays some of our rent, but the quality of the video is really good. But so it's a hybrid, and you look at it and you think that wants a Civic VTEC engine in it, doesn't it? But it's not. It's a hybrid, and it's mostly electric drive. So, and it's got a petrol engine in it that works mostly as a generator. It's also got
like a range extender.
Yeah, but it's a 2-litre petrol engine, which is very unusual for that. It can also drive the wheels through a CVT gearbox, but I don't know exactly. But from what they were saying, basically most of the time it's a full electric drive, and I think there's only odd occasions when you're properly on it that the petrol engine helps out with the actual drive. The rest of the time it's purely charging the batteries. But when you put it in sport mode, it revs the engine as if you were driving it with the engine,
so you get
it's got
real noise, not augmented noise.
It's a real engine that's revving up to 6,000 RPM, and it blips with gear changes and everything. But it's all the electric motor doing it to make it feel like that's the case. But I think the thing is, the engine's revving to generate more energy to give you more drive.
Keep your batteries full.
Yeah. So it kind of makes sense a bit. I still think it'd be more efficient if the engine was at a constant RPM, but I can see what they've done.
Or just have an engine in it.
Well, yeah. So
I know that's not.
Well, no, but it's a valid point, because I thought, well, this could work. This could make sense if the CO2 emissions are so low that it's going to be like low tax and all that kind of thing. It's between 100 and 150 grams of CO2 per kilometre, so not really any better than a petrol.
No.
So it's not even as good a hybrid.
Well, that Alfa Tonale we've got is like 30 grams per kilometre or something like that. You know, really, really low. And this one's over 100. You think, why have you done this, Honda? Who have you made this for?
Yeah, what market it's made for.
And you'd think one of the benefits, though, of it being purely electric driven like that is it'd be quite fast, wouldn't you?
It's not.
Do you want to guess?
Isn't it?
Oh, you've looked it up, haven't you, Chris? But Phil, would you like
Yeah,
to guess?
that's why I'm looking over there.
Would you like to guess the 0 to 60 time of the new Honda Prelude?
Well, I think even a dual car's like 7 seconds, so maybe 6 if it's 2-litre petrol with battery power as well.
What is it, Chris?
8.3.
Right. So it would struggle to keep up with our old 47-year-old classics.
It won't keep up with our 47-year-old classics. I can't see any remotely sporty car on sale that's that slow. I can't think of anything that would be...
I wouldn't use the word sporty.
They gave it quite a good review. They said what it would be good for is basically if you've got a bit of grey hair going on and you wanted something nice, but not too sporty.
Yeah, I'm open to interpretation of nice as well. But
they said it's nice inside.
Maybe if you're losing your sight and you got a bit of cataracts or something.
There was a few cool things I looked at, because I was really into my JDM cars when I was younger, and there's a few things I saw from the video which is quite interesting. One of the things I noticed was that the rear seats is a different colour to the front seats, and it was like fabric, and the front seats were leather. And they used to do that on purpose, yeah. And they used to do that. Old Japs cars, like old Supras and things, were like that. The rear seats were a different fabric to the fronts and stuff, because they just knew nobody was sitting in them, so they didn't bother making them nice. And it was just one of those. And I saw that and I thought that's a throwback to like 90s JDM cars, which I quite liked. But yeah, I just thought, who they made that car for? I don't understand who that's for, that car, because the rear seats were totally unusable, had a very good boot. But so, for practicality purposes, nobody wants a practical car that looks...
Maybe it's for grandparents that don't actually like their grandchildren.
You thought about one, Phil?
I've got one on order.
I will say, in the darker grey, I'm looking at some examples, the darker grey looks actually better in the photos than the blue, which I think is in the Johnny Smith one's got the blue one.
Yes, yeah.
It looks better in the darker colours in the photos, definitely.
It's a weird car. I don't understand it really. The benefit of it being electric driven and all that surely should be that it's really low emissions and the tax is going to be low and all that kind of thing. But it's not.
And for the money, it's
not expensive. 39 grand, is it?
Oh, is it only 39? I thought I saw 50k.
No.
Oh no, 50k plus was for something else. Sorry.
Yeah, 39 grand I think they are, which actually is quite good value for now. What cars cost now? I mean, I still feel I'd feel ripped off, but you like a Golf GTI is 40 grand now, isn't it? So
a reasonable car nowadays is 50 grand, isn't it?
Yeah.
But when I consider, I don't really want to mention the fact that I have a Tesla, but when I consider my company car, and I've got the slowest rear-wheel drive Tesla Y, and it's like $5 grand more than this. And yes, it looks awful. It looks like a frog, I think some people describe it as, but
it's a fridge.
In all honesty, it's a lot bloody quicker than this.
Yeah, I think that would be more engaging, no doubt. What he did say.
Well, on your road trip ideas, we'll give it. That's maybe what we need.
See if Honda will lend us one because we've got like 10 viewers now. They might think we're
really
big style influence. We've gone up from 2, Phil. We're now on to 10. So
what we're doing? Showing it in one of the immigrants' hotel rooms.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm watching it 9 times to boost it. But it's interesting. They did say that it's got all of the chassis of the Civic Type R.
It basically is a Civic under the covers, isn't it? I think pretty much.
But they said it's got all the suspension and everything from the Civic Type R, so handling and everything's really good. But they've chosen this very weird drivetrain setup, which I don't understand. And it's like 180 horsepower, isn't it? It's not a lot. Bizarre.
There you go. We'll plug Johnny Smith's channel.
We have. He'll see that surge of viewer and notice that. Yeah. But no, that was my only other business because I had a Honda Prelude and I was quite excited when I saw one was coming out, and then don't really understand it. But anyway. Okay, well, thank you everybody for bearing with us and listening again this week. Hopefully Ed will be back with us, back to normal next week. If you enjoyed the video, please like it, and if you didn't, please still like it. That'd be nice. Make a comment if you've got any ideas for future conversation points, or you want to share ideas of what cars you'd take on our fancy road trip round Loughborough or whatever it is we suggested we're doing this week. Please let us know. And if you can subscribe, that really, really helps. And really appreciate your support. And we'll see you all next week.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.